That's
So
very cool.
you said you started writing songs in college. Had you written anything before then? Like poems or stories? Were you a writer, or is that something you just started doing after you learned the music?
I liked writing, but I didn't like in English class when you'd have to write. I didn't like writing with rules. I really didn't like it. So I was good at it. I knew how to do it, but I was exhausted by it and I was bored by it. So even I remember senior year of high school, we did like a poetry part of the course. And for all intents and purposes, it was really cool, but I hated it because it was like, here's a poem, you write a poem, and then someone's going to tell you why you're wrong. And I'm like, and it wasn't really framed that way. It was framed like you didn't do this thing that you're supposed to do in the poem, or you didn't, understand this concept. But like for me, it was just, I couldn't stomach it. It was just like, what is the point of this if you're going to put rules on it? So for me, I think once I got to college, and specifically I studied abroad in Paris for a semester. I had written a song in high school towards the end on guitar, but once I got to Paris, my academic schedule in high school was really rigorous, as it was in college. But for this particular semester, I took classes from like an external company instead of my university, and that external company, the classes were difficult, but the workload was really light. So I found myself in Paris with like more time than I'd ever had in the last 7 years of my life, and a guitar, and no money. So I was like, what am I going to do with my day? I'm going to take my guitar. I'm going to go down, sit by Notre Dame right by the Seine, and I'm just going to write all day, every day. And I wrote the shittiest songs of all time, like just horrible music that no one should ever hear, paired with just drivel. And
Were you
but
like
that's what it
sensitive,
takes.
like moody guy?
Of course I was. Look at me. Of course I was. But that's like, you got to get through that garbage in order to, like, you got to write it out of you. And then it's a bunch of copying people that you love, and it's a bunch of like, trying to recreate the stuff that you're like, that you put on a pedestal, that eventually, little by little, you chip away at, and you're able to cut through to something that's like, oh, I don't think anybody said that like that before. And then even that is sandwiched between like two pieces of shit in a song, but like at least you recognize it for what it is, and then you're like, okay, that's the stuff, that's the good stuff, that's the stuff that I can say that nobody else can.